My name's Nathan Schrader. I'm from Stevens Point, Wisconsin, and I am the September Equation. I started the September Equation back in probably '99, so quite a while ago, just loving analog synthesizers and pop ideas in a non-pop format of music. And I had played with a number of different bands before as the synth guy and just wanted to do something that was my own. The first one was just a self-release thing. I did a CDR and a nice old Sony Vaio computer, burning them all myself, and just to have something to sell at shows and kind of a demo to send out to different places. Well, there's a band called Joy Electric out of Orange County, and Ronnie Martin, who is the songwriter, and it's kind of a one-man band thing too, though live he plays with other people. He started a label called Plastic Music because he wanted to get more people doing that kind of music out there. And I had known him from shows and different things we had gone to. Just started emailing, and he heard I was doing some stuff. We played a show together in Minnesota, and he said, "Hey, you want to be on the label?" And I said, "Of course, yes." Oh man, that was so exciting. I mean, the first one I made was like, this is cool, but I know I made it. But when I first got my first disc back, there was just such an excitement and joy inside my heart, a sense of fulfillment, a bit of like, this can't be real. I'm not a guy that can produce this, because going to shows and music was, always such a huge part of my life. And those were my heroes. Sports guys weren't my heroes. Artists and musicians were my heroes. And so to have someone consider I should be counted, even in a small way, in that group just blew me away. And I thought, this is incredible. I remember laying on my parents' floor in the dining room, which is where the stereo was, and putting on the LP of Vangelis soundtracks, Blade Runner and Chariots of Fire, and just listening to that and being lost in it and loving it. And my dad would tell me, one man made all this. Everyone else on the label was really kind of craft work, kind of early analog stuff, and I was the weird guy that did the glitchy IDM stuff back then. So released 2 CDs with them, and then did another little EP in there. Sometimes I'll have a really clear picture of what I'm going for, either a sound or a melody. Sometimes it's just, let's see what comes out of the machines. I start patching stuff together and get a sound or get a loop that I like, and then start building from there. Usually I'll start with a melody or a chord progression and go from there. And I record everything into Ableton, but I try to use that just as a tape machine, not making loops, not doing much there, just trying to use analog sequencers and drum machines to set the beats and things like that. So sometimes that works out beautifully, sometimes it's a 20-take process because the timing doesn't line up, or the sound, I cranked a filter at the wrong time, but that's all part of the joy. And then sometimes I walk away and nothing came of the night. We like this idea of unlimited freedom, but it's when constraints come in that true creativity can take place, true direction and motion can take place. And I think that's one of the reasons I love analog synthesis is, man, with a computer you can do anything these days. But when I limit myself to this old time technology, things come out that I would never have found otherwise, and I have a lot of questions answered before I even start. So about 2 years ago, I started feeling like, man, I've got stuff in me that I want to get out, and I had no intention of ever releasing anything. It was like, this is just my chill out, de-stress way of doing stuff. And so started putting stuff together. Then Plastic Music said, "Hey, we saw your Instagram, you're starting to do stuff, release something." And I said, no. And then finally had 50 tracks laying around and thought I could probably find 10 to put on something put out. So it's all instrumental stuff, but everything like the album has a story arc to it, and when I'm writing songs, there's always an idea or a concept I'm wanting to get across, and that's the beauty of art. Maybe I'm the only one that gets what that concept is, but it'll hit someone else in a way that they need at that moment. It's one of those things where I think, hey, this is one thing I can put out into the world, and I'm just convinced. One of the reasons I'm here is to create and to encourage. I want to create things in the world, and I want to encourage other people to be who they're meant to be, who they're made to be. Honestly, my faith is a huge part of why I do stuff. I'm a pastor full time, so but yet I want to leave room for people to discover the journey on their own.
Why the 14-year gap?
I would say family. I have a 14-year-old son, and so realizing, in those early stages, at least for me, and it's different for everyone, but for me, I said, hey, I've got to set some stuff aside and focus in on being a dad, on being a husband. Well, I just encourage musicians in Wisconsin to just keep going, even if it seems like there's not a huge following or a huge scene where you are. Don't give up. There's a reason to create. There's a reason to put yourself out there. And the world needs to hear what you have to say. The world needs to experience what's inside of you. And I would love to see the scene in Wisconsin grow with any style. Who in the world even wants to listen to this? And then, a couple people do, and that's nice. I